Welcome to my week 11 set of power rankings. As week 10 it cometh and it goeth, but it provided a lot to talk about, and we'll get into that today. But if you're unfamiliar with how I do power rankings, I separate it into 5 tiers, with that bottom tier right here being bottom of the league, essentially bottom of the barrel, losers even. But the tier right above that I have labeled as could be but unlikely, teams that are just relatively bad but could be a spoiler to some better teams. And then the middle tier is these playoff contenders, teams I think will be vying for the playoffs. Doesn't necessarily mean that I think they'll make it, but I think they'll be in the race, the discussion. And then above that are teams I'm almost 100%, almost, and we'll talk about that as we get into the video, are playoff teams. And of course you have your Super Bowl contenders. But without further ado, let's get into this. By the way, what's crack-a-lackin'? It's your boy Broshmo, just in case you did not know. So go ahead, be going bro, and subscribe, and leave this video a thumbs up if you enjoy the content. As always, let me know what you think in the comment section below, because I love having that nice, beautiful football discourse with you all. But let's go ahead, throw the Giants bottom of the tier, worst team in the league. Yes, that's my opinion. I feel like it's a safe opinion. They are down to quarterback 3, Tommy DeVito. The dude still lives with his parents. He's out here trying to lead an offense. They're on the struggle bus. I was shocked that the Giants scored 17 points this week. This offense is basically Saquon, and you could also make a good argument that that was the case when Daniel Jones was under center. But yeah, no, the Giants, they will be on the struggle bus. They'll be vying for one of those top 2 picks, and I think it's very likely they go quarterback. My number 31 team in the power rankings here is the Carolina Panthers. So hey, look, they moved up. But just because the Giants are that bad, we have seen some progressions, some development from Bryce Young, but still, I think he is just not picking up the NFL speed quick enough right now. It's really not fair for him that his receivers aren't getting separation. The pass protection's poor, but yeah, I mean, you kind of saw it, unfortunately, on primetime. Thank goodness I didn't stream that Thursday night game. That would have sucked. But they didn't even get an offensive touchdown that game. Their one touchdown came via punt return. So yeah, no, Panthers, they're a bad team, and not in a good sense. The New England Patriots will be the next team up here for me. We saw Mac Jones. He got benched on the final drive, or at least prior to the start of the final drive, to win the game. They were like, we've seen enough. We're not going to put the ball into your hands. They had Bailey Zappi come in, who ends up throwing a pick. But yeah, man, the Patriots offense just sucks. It does. This is going to be another team looking at the quarterback position when it comes to the draft or the offseason in general. Bill Belichick, will he remain the coach? Because honestly, I don't see the Patriots firing him. But does he step down? Is he like, I've had enough of this crap? Or does he get this team in position to draft one of those top quarterbacks? It's going to be very interesting to see, but they have no playmakers. Kendrick Bourne went down last week to the ACL injury. Demario Douglas was the leading receiver here, and he gained a lot of his yards on a screenplay to go into halftime. Essentially, they could have went for the Hail Mary, where they're like, let's just dump a screen, see what you can get, and essentially what the offense was. It was kind of bad. But I only have one more team in this bottom of the league tier, and it is the Chicago Bears. I can't wait for Justin Fields to come back, because I see this team drafting quarterback until, like, if he comes, like, Fields needs to come back and kind of prove otherwise. This team is bad. They beat a bad team in the Panthers. It's not like the offense looked that good. Like, the run game was solid, but Tyson Bagent, maybe he becomes a solid backup in the future, but he's not your future. Like, Fields needs to get healthy so we can come to some sort of conclusion when it comes to what to do with Justin Fields. Are you moving forward with him, or are you trading him? Kind of the $1 million question right now. I will say the defense is starting to step up. The run defense has been pretty solid in the last few weeks for the Bears. Montez Sweat, this dude had a lot of pressure against the Panthers. Didn't register a sack, but he was kind of the reason for a lot of the sacks in this game. But Kyler Gordon also had another good Kyler? Can't remember. Former Washington corner. He had a pretty solid game there tonight. But let's go ahead and move to this could be but unlikely tier, and that's where I'm going to put the Arizona Cardinals as the next team up. Kyler Murray, welcome back. Led a game-winning drive, had one of the best plays of the week on 3rd and 10, where he scrambles one way, scrambles to the other side of the field to pick up the first down. I think he traveled like 30-some yards. Like, that man got moving. He should have had a touchdown to Michael Wilson, but Wilson was technically short. And they weren't going to put Kyler Murray in there for the tush push, so Clayton Tune came in and got a rando Russian touchdown. But yeah, they were able to put away the Atlanta Falcons. Kyler Murray looked good in his return, a little rust as a passer, but you saw that just his ability to improvise, what makes him such a special quarterback in this league. So good to see Kyler Murray back. Listen, I know you love the NFL draft as much as I do, and you're going to want a nice hefty watch list of players during this college football season. Well, go ahead, check out my draft guide. You can purchase it for only $30 by Venmoing or PayPaling me. Links in the description. It's a one-time payment and you get it for this whole draft cycle and forever and always. Technically, it's a Google spreadsheet. So send me your email when you send the payment. I'll get you hooked up. You will see my current prospect rankings and big board, my full evals. And guess what? It updates throughout the whole draft cycle. So it's a great purchase and it's a great way to support the channel. I got Tennessee Titans one spot over the Cardinals here. Piss poor showing. The offensive line sucks. Andre Dillard got hurt early in the game. Dylan Radins had to move from guard to tackle, where he just didn't play well. He just didn't. He got mollywopped by this defensive line of the Bucks, who, to be fair, they haven't been getting a lot of pressure this season. I think Carlton Davis was out in this game, but it didn't matter, man. Will Levis had no time to throw, and basically had to just like heave some passes. I mean, I think he had 3 turnover-worthy plays in this game. The offense couldn't get nothing going, and the defense was stuck out, just hung out to dry. Really hung out to dry against the Bucks. To be fair, the Bucks probably should have scored more points on that Tennessee defense. They kind of got a few lucky breaks, but Tennessee seems to be traveling the wrong direction when it comes to power rankings. All right, next up here is the Green Bay Packers. Heartbreaking defeat, but Jordan Love looked solid. He looked solid. Aside from his only turnover-worthy plays of the game happened to be interceptions. Well, one interception. The other one could make a case wasn't on him. But man, this offense, it feels like some of the young players maybe are starting to blossom a little bit. Jaden Reed, Dubs is playing well. Christian Watson, you could make a case he's not even the 3rd best receiver on this team. Like, some of the questions with Christian Watson coming out of North Dakota State was, okay, not exactly the best route runner, and despite his size, he's not really physical at the catch point. He's not be a contested catch guy. He's someone that is more run away from you and catch the ball deep than actually go up and win a 50-50 ball. And that was all apparent on one of the interceptions, which this is one I don't really think was on him, on Jordan Love, that is, where you had Christian Watson just run a terrible route and then not even contest the catch. So, on top of that, the defense isn't playing, wasn't spectacular. Granted, Jair Alexander was out of this game, but the run defense was bad. The Packers just are a bad team right now. They're a bad team, but they're a young team that is, I think, will probably be better maybe down the stretch. But there's still hope on that squad. There's still a lot of quality players on that team. Right ahead of them, I'm gonna have the Antonio Pierce led Las Vegas Raiders. They gotta win this week. They got a close one against the stinking Jets. The defense did a good job of not letting the Jets do anything. To be fair, the Jets haven't scored a touchdown on 30 some drives, 30 straight some drives. So it wasn't really the tallest of tasks. The offense did enough. Aiden O'Connell looked like a rookie, but Josh Jacobs, he was busting open these big runs. Aside from like 2 fumbles, he had a good game. 2 fumbles though. And Robert Spillane, man, ends up getting the game-winning, game-ending, really, interception, which is nice, man. He's having a very, very good season. And, I mean, I'm kind of curious what this Raiders team will look like when they run into a real squad, but through 2 weeks, they're 2-0 against New York. All right, who do I have ahead of the Raiders? Oh, I wonder if people are going to like this. The Atlanta Falcons, man. I've seen people in my comment section. I don't know if this was past power rankings, but previous ones where it was like, oh, the Atlanta Falcons are a better team. Their schedule down the stretch are so easy. And now they've lost like 3 straight to bad teams. Like, just a minute, Atlanta fans, you have a bad team right now. Like, the defense is fine. It got a little squishy against the Cardinals here, but it's also injuries. Grady Jarrett, I believe David Onyemata was out this game. So pass rush is kind of hard to come by. They need to get more talent at that overall position. But I think moving forward, you look at this squad and it's like a lot of pieces are there. You just, bam, you pluck in an edge rusher and a quarterback and you feel a lot better about this team. Taylor Heineke did get hurt in this game. Not that he was playing well. And Desmond Ridder stepped in. Had the run-in touchdown, so good for him, but I don't think he did anything extraordinarily as a passer. And yeah, no, it kind of sucks, man. I feel like the Falcons are slowly falling out of this NFC South race, but to be fair, the NFC South's not very good, so well, I think right now, they're only 1 game out. A lot of things can change, so just stay tuned. Stay tuned. The LA Rams had a bye week, but I'm going to go ahead and put them here. Matthew Stafford sounds like he will return, which that's great. If not, then you get Carson Wentz running the offense. Ooh, that's going to be interesting, but it's just this team there's a lot of aspects of it that's very young, and it's just depleted of talent. There's not like, it's very surface level with some of their positions where you look like Aaron Donald, you got Cooper Kupp, Tutu Atwell, Puka Nacua, Kyron Williams, but like you start looking at every position, it's like, man, this team truly is kind of dog water. And to be fair, I think they're kind of overperforming my expectation for them coming into this season. Only a couple of more teams in this could be but unlikely tier. We're going to talk about the Indianapolis Colts real quick. Got a good win against the Patriots. I say a good win. They won 10-6. Sorry, Germany. That was not wunderbar. But, I mean, the offense did enough in this game, but like they were very stagnant. Like the defense really did a lot of the heavy lifting. DeForest Buckner had a stellar game. I don't know. I expect better games ahead. We've seen this we know it's Minshew mania. It's Gardner Minshew. It's going to be a roller coaster ride. There's going to be some highs and there's going to be some lows. There's going to be peaks. There's going to be valleys. That's just the way it goes. Will note, though, Jonathan Taylor had a large majority of the workload here. It looks like they are now running him full speed, no pitch count. That was we kind of got clued into that last week, but this week it was like, I think Zach Moss had like 2 carries and was probably on the field for maybe like 10 some snaps. And then the final team I have in this tier is the New York Jets. This defense is good enough to win them games. Zach Wilson honestly didn't play a bad game until the interception. I mean, was it a great game? No, but like he wasn't putting the ball in harm's way until that interception where he just stared down his target and Spillane just broke on it. The offensive line sucks. It's terrible. I know it's banged up, but it's bad. The run game is non-existent, and it's not even like, oh, now they're one-dimensional. They're gonna just rely on Wilson's arm. No, they are like, no, even if it's just 1 yard or -2, we're gonna keep running the football. And it's like, yeah, when you got someone like Breece Hall, you want to bet he's gonna break the big one, but man, it's I mentioned it earlier. This team hasn't scored a touchdown on offensive possession in forever. So like the defense is stuck having to bail out a really bad offense. Let's go ahead and move up to these playoff contenders, starting with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They utterly mollywopped the Titans. I think they left points on the board. You had Mike Evans with a couple of drops, one being a touchdown, so a little uncharacteristic. But they didn't have to do much in that game to win. Kind of hoping this team, and particularly the secondary, gets a little healthier the next couple of weeks. They had like Carlton Davis down with a toe injury. I don't know what's been wrong with Jamal Dean. I mean, I do know, but I'm not going to look it up on the fly. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head, but I think they have a really good shot at contending with the NFC South in terms of the crown. We'll see. We'll talk about my top team for the AFC South in a little bit here. Next, I do have the Denver Broncos. Did they win against the Bills? I mean, yes, that was what the final score said, but let's be honest, it felt like the Bills defeated themselves. A lot of those turnovers were self-imposed. I mean, you had 2 fumbles, technically 3, but sneaking Cook was just kind of bouncing the ball to himself. James Cook, it was kind of weird. But man, even the interceptions were just poorly passed balls by Josh Allen. So it's not like this team was getting a lot of pressure. But the offense looks a little bit better. There's still times where it goes in droughts, but they were able to move down the field to win the game. Granted, they were aided by a defensive pass interference on an underthrown ball from Russ. And then they had the 12 man on the field on Buffalo, which allowed Will Lutz to make up for his previous miss. So kind of a weird game. Don't really know where the Broncos fall into this. Next, I have the Washington Commanders. It sucked. Sam Howell did everything he can to win that game. He threw an absolute dot to stinking Yami Brown, former Tar Heel teammate, for the go-ahead touchdown. And then Jack Del Rio's defense just got soft, allowed Geno to get down the field into field goal range, and for them to win the game. The offensive line remains pretty bad for the Commanders. The pass rush is non-existent. This is a bad defense for the Commanders. But Sam Howell, honestly, he is showing out. He's looking really, really good. Might have yourselves a franchise quarterback there, or at least someone worth moving forward with for next year and maybe the immediate future. Right ahead of them, I got the Los Angeles Chargers. Chargers going to Charger. They lose an absolute shootout. Justin Herbert did everything within his power to win this game. The defense sucks. You have a defensive-minded coach in Brandon Staley, and the defense is utterly atrocious. Fire him. Just putting it out there. A lot of close games that have not fallen the Chargers' way this season, unfortunately. Again, Chargers going to Charger. Right ahead of them, I have the New Orleans Saints, who did lose this week. They will have a bye, but I'm kind of curious. I don't think they have the cojones to put Jameis Winston in the driver's seat after Derek Carr had this offense looking like it couldn't do anything. They only, scored 3 points, and then Carr gets hurt. This is a wild thing. He gets rocked on his first target of the game to Chris Olave. He's your best wide receiver. Get this man involved. Jameis Winston came in, no problems. Scored 16 consecutive points. Granted, this was Jameis Winston. Put your hands up. It's a ride. It's a roller coaster. There's going to be highs. There's going to be lows. There's going to be peaks. There's going to be dips. Granted, I felt like one of the interceptions wasn't entirely on him, but still, he gave this offense just a spark that they needed. I don't know if there's a case that can be made that Derek Carr should step in. I say ride Jameis until the wheels fall off, and then you could throw in Carr. Or maybe you just go run a 2-quarterback system. Right ahead of them, I have the Minnesota Vikings, the hot Minnesota Vikings. Josh Dobbs is playing, just playing out of his mind. He has won. He has stolen America's heart. We were talking about comeback. I talked about comeback player of the year a couple of weeks ago in my award show, midseason award show, and I said, Tua is probably the front runner because he was all banged up. Yo, let's talk about Dobbs coming off the street for Arizona. Not even coming off the street, got dealt to the Cardinals, came out, made that team watchable, and then dealt again and is helping aid and save the Vikings season. Dobbs isn't the hero we wanted. He's the hero we needed, though. All right, we got one more team in this category. It's got to be the stinking Pittsburgh Steelers. What are the Steelers? Is Kenny Pickett just bad, or can we put this all on Matt Canada? At least the run game came alive. By the way, Jaylen Warren deserves much more touches than Najee Harris. Like, Warren's popping off. Get that man more touches. The defense had a couple of hiccups this week, but like all in all, man, that's still a very, very terrifying defense. Haven't they won? I think in 8 of their 9 games this season, they have been outgained. Just a wild stat, and they're 6-3. Mike Tomlin, man, he's got to deal with the devil. I think that dude sold his soul. I really do. But let's move on to these playoff teams that I have. We're going to start with the Houston Texans. Huge win this week over the Cincinnati Bengals. CJ Stroud is blossoming. People are talking about him MVP, and MVP is kind of a wide open race. So if you want to throw his name in there, I don't fault you. I don't blame you. He's playing really good football. This team is stepping up, even despite some, if you go look at their injury report, oh my goodness, dude, this team has been beat up all season. Noah Brown, I think 25% of his career yards have come in the last 2 games. Wild. Wow, Tank Dell, Stroud, that is just that's just a pairing that Houston fans are gonna love for the next few years. They are gonna love it. Yeah, Houston, they're playing really good football. This was the type of win that they needed to put respect on their name. They could be much higher than this. The question is, man, truly the question is, do they have enough talent to maintain this? Because we can look at the Texans, and honestly, you look at them, it's like, this is a team next year that's going to be a contender. This is a team that, a Super Bowl contender. This is a team next year that, watch out. Watch out. They just don't have enough talent yet. But let's wait and watch. Next is the Seattle Seahawks. I kind of feel like they shouldn't have beat Washington, but they did. I mean, hey, if Washington's going to play squishy defense, then Gino, you go out there and do your thing. Gino played a relatively good game. I think the important note here is that Zach Charbonnet outsnapped Kenneth Walker. That was very interesting. Kenneth Walker, though, a couple of big plays, though. You also had the defensive line, man, playing really, really good. But to be fair, Washington has no offensive line. So I don't know how impressive exactly that was, but I got them here next. Think does this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, no, this is team 11. It's the Buffalo Bills. They're outside the top 10. They just relieved, the nicest way to put it, Ken Dorsey of his role there as the OC. Joe Brady is going to step up as the quarterback's coach. He's going to step up as the interim offensive coordinator, because something's got to be done. This, I don't know what it is, man. This offense, they can move the football, but they're not scoring. They're making dumb mistakes. They keep shooting themselves in the foot. They had 4 turnovers against Denver at home. This is an at-home game. This was embarrassing. Bills have been embarrassing for the last few weeks. They need to get it together. The defense is playing well, but they're not creating turnovers. So you're always dealing with these long fields when it comes to the Bills, and they're just not getting it done, man. Not getting it done. I just can't trust the Bills at this current state. All right, now it's the top 10. My 10th team is the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think, they were coming off their bye, and yeah, they put out a dud. Sometimes good teams put out duds. I'm not talking about you, Bills. You've been putting out multiple duds. But sometimes good teams just put out duds. It is what it is. I think this team will be better moving forward. Let's keep in mind they have 2 divisional games coming up. I believe it's Tennessee next week and then Houston after that. And I think then we could get a fair okay, this is probably your AFC South winner, or at the very least, okay, playoff team. Let's look at those games. They should dominate Tennessee. We'll see. And then Houston's going to be a very interesting game, but I'm not willing to smash the panic button yet on the Jaguars. Right in front of them, I have the Cleveland Browns. Deshaun Watson played a good half of football. He did. Probably the best half he has ever had as a Cleveland Brown. And it led them to victory against the Baltimore Ravens. This defense is going to keep them in games. It's the best defense in the league. Yes, sir. They opened the game with, I kind of want to save this when I talk about the Ravens, but Kyle Hamilton had a phenomenal play that resulted in a pick 6. I'll talk a little bit more about it in a little bit, but it came down to the game-winning field goal. Now they have split on the season, the Browns and the Ravens. So people are going to be arguing Browns should be ahead of the blah, 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 blah Ravens. And it's going to be they split this year, with one being the Ravens utterly dominated, and then the other, the Browns, winning as time expires. I ain't playing that game. I still lean with the Ravens are the better team. I have the Bengals just ahead of the Browns, and to be frank, this is literally how my rankings go. This is how I view the AFC North. It's all up for grabs. You could even make a case that Pittsburgh is going to be in the run-in, but I just simply think these are better teams than Pittsburgh. The Bengals, you had a bit of a stinker. T. Higgins is going to be out the next couple of weeks with a hamstring. The offensive line sucks. It just sucked this game against the Texans. You had Burrow making some uncharacteristically bad decisions. Tyler Boyd dropped a touchdown that would have extended it to a 7-point game instead of settling for the field goal. So much. That Tyler Boyd touchdown would have changed so much for the Texans, knowing that they had to drive would have to drive for the touchdown rather than the field goal. But hey, man, I still think the Bengals, they've been playing for the most part better than anyone else the last few weeks. Was it a little premature on my part to put them at 1 last week? Probably. But I think as this team gets healthier, they're going to be in the Super Bowl contender discussion. But as of right now, I'll keep them in this playoff tier. The Ravens started the game out great. Kyle Hamilton coming on a blitz, tips the ball up to himself, pick 6, amazing. Honestly, Lamar didn't have to do much in this game, and when they needed him to, he ends up throwing a pick, another deflected pick 6. Though Greg Newsome did not deflect it to himself. And I don't know, man, the defense kind of got a little soft in the second half. This is still a really good Ravens team. It's just, man, they come out, they smash the Seahawks, they smash the Lions, and then they play a couple of close games. I don't know really what to think of the Ravens at this juncture other than, yeah, they're a good team. Can they be Super Bowl contenders? I'm not entirely sold on that just yet. Not. But they are a really good team, one of the best teams in the AFC. Let's go ahead and move to the Super Bowl contender tier, starting with the Dallas Cowboys. Welcome back. I know they smashed the Giants. The Raiders did that the previous week, but I think Dak And this offense is starting to hum a little bit. CeeDee Lamb is fiery, and they still have one of the best defenses in the league. So it's hard to say that they're not Super Bowl contenders. I get it. They probably get to the playoffs and, not perform well. But they should. They should in theory. They have the talent, and they're humming, man. It was hard to keep them. It was hard to say they're not a playoff team, but or it was hard to say that they were more playoff team than actual Super Bowl contender, but they should be. They should be. A good win this week against the Giants. They did everything they needed to. They smashed those folks. And they continued to. Dak, ended up throwing for 4 touchdowns, had a rushing touchdown in there, something like that. He had a deep pass to Michael Gallup where it was yo, guys, the Giants are dead. They're already dead. Oh, man. Do I have something on the... I thought I had something on the back of my chair. Oh, that's just a hole. Huh, weird. Let's keep this sucker rolling. Detroit Lions are the next team up here. I'm going to put them right in front of the Cowboys. This offense, my favorite play of the week is JMO running down the sideline to deliver a block that allowed David Montgomery to get the long scoring touchdown. Love it. The defense still kind of a pushover. It kind of is what it is at this point, but the offense looks like they can keep up with anybody, unless you're Baltimore Ravens. So, Detroit, for now, I'm going to keep them in this Super Bowl contender tier until we see otherwise. I'm going to wait. Miami Dolphins had a bye. Congratulations. I know people are going to be like, hey, man, they haven't beat a winning team. And it's listen, they came very close against the Chiefs after playing a dog water first half. They were very much in that game against Philly. And, you could talk about the refs. Hey, Philly was a better team on that day. Yeah, the refs had some bad calls. But that's every game in the NFL now, so it's just to be expected. Why doesn't college have a referee problem? But listen, Dolphins, they're getting healthier. I think that win will come. And if they can't beat winning teams, then they'll simply fall down the power rankings. All right, I got the 49ers here at 3. Very impressive performance against the Jags. Everyone was healthy. The offense was humming. They kept Trevor Lawrence under pressure that whole first half. And then it just kind of was just on cruise control in the second half because they were already up by so much. This was a good win. This was a very good win coming off a bye that they probably needed to get refocused and a little bit healthier. I think they're back. All right, Kansas City Chiefs are going to take this number 2 spot. Another team that is coming off of a bye. They will actually, might as well do this, right? They will have a showdown with the Philadelphia Eagles this week. That's gonna be good. It's gonna be good, yeah. It's gonna be fun. We'll see. Mahomes' offense hasn't really been their normal self. Travis Kelce's really kind of been he's been the only threat on that squad offensively for Mahomes. But the defense is next level, man. They're a top 5 defense this season. So I feel like they can hold a little bit of the water when the offense isn't firing at all cylinders. The Philadelphia Eagles kind of feel like they're in a similar boat where they'll go through droughts here and there, but they can also just score at a moment's notice. The defense front is very good for the most part, and they've been susceptible in the secondary. They're coming off the bye. This allows them to get a little bit healthier, but I'm excited for that Super Bowl rematch. But there it is. That's how I currently see the NFL. This is Power Rankings. Let me know where I got it wrong in the comment section below. That's it for the video. Go ahead, do the YouTube thing. And as always, until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.